Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to be speaking again about Cardano and how it's actually continuing to disappoint. So, if you haven't already, do subscribe, drop a comment, hammer on the like button, and let us know what you think. So, of course, Cardano's back in the news again today. Cardano is fumbling it up, just as it has been for the past couple of weeks here now. It is continuing to go sideways, but now, as we were having yesterday and the last couple of days, how it was starting to kind of make a comeback, it started to look really good. It started like, okay, well, it looks like we can kind of come back. Well, it did drop yesterday to a buck 90, right? So coming down from like, let's see, it came down from exactly like 230, 240, right? So it started back down now as we're sitting at today at $1.99 at this exact moment. So it is continuing to disappoint and is bleeding out. A pretty strong drop. So it's still not looking great. We pretty much called it as well that Cardano is not going to do anything really good for a while. I know a lot of people got very, very excited, especially when we were looking at like, oh, hey, look, guys, look, it's a green candle. That's right. We did get that a little bit, but it was short lived, and that's what we have. And everybody's really wanting to see like Cardano really kind of hit like $7, $8 by the end of the year. And the only way that that's actually going to happen, I mean, if you just even like look at the chart, like on the daily, the only way that's going to happen if it just skyrocket in one day, just like straight up, and that's it. Otherwise, we're looking at like maybe next year, middle of next year, maybe it could if it does finally pull itself up out of the mud, but it isn't looking too hot. So you can see this probably kind of still again when we were talking about this that is kind of hanging in this middle channel, right? So from the bottom here, it's still kind of hanging out in the middle after it kind of started to bounce back up, but it's back down on that lower channel, and that's not too great. Now, so it is a good buy point, right, at this moment. If you are expecting to kind of hold off for a little while, it is a good buy point, I think. I know it is for me, but when we come up, it's just not going to really make you a whole lot of money at this time. Not today, probably not this year, but eventually in some time, it is possible. But I wouldn't hold breath for that kind of matter, right? Now going to the weekly for this as well. So of course I got to show you the weekly. All right, the weekly is like I mean to compare like what we had. Yeah, it's a lot better, right? Of course, it's not like how it was in August, but still better. So we can see that here, and it's still kind of just well dead in the water, right? So let's take a look at Bitcoin, though. Now, we spoke about Bitcoin a lot too. Now, Bitcoin is continuing to move sideways, right? So, as we said to like November, it was kind of like, I'm sorry, daily. November 8th, it was kind of moving here and then starting to kind of go down. We did have this big drop, right? So, we got hot, we started cooling off a little bit. The entire market started cooling off, right? And we'll get to that in a minute, but it looks like it is starting to make that decline down. And I would expect it to kind of come back down to a little bit right around 57, 58,000, as we said, maybe $1,000 more, but it is going to come down. But we're going to see these altcoins kind of pick up on that slack as well. So, for example, if we do see it around this level, I can tell you if it really drops to about like right here, let's see, 58, people are really going to freak out at that moment and really kind of push it, right? So, it's going to be a lot of liquidation, I think, coming in that moment, and you're going to see that kind of come into the rest of the market as well. So, and not always a bad thing, especially with the altcoins. They could bounce up from that, and that's what I think is going to happen. So we'll just have to see on that, right? So for the weekly, of course, it's still not too hot, right? But it's not doing as good as it was the previous week, so it is looking pretty ugly, but not too bad, not too bad. Nothing we can really kind of complain about, right? To be nice about it. Ethereum. Now, Ethereum, been a lot of praise for Ethereum. Ethereum's doing great. It's doing fantastic. It's actually going through the roof. But when we look at the daily, we do have that really ugly red candle, so it is looking a little bearish right now. So not too great. But it's still pretty strong, right? So Ethereum's still doing fantastic things. So I'd still watch out for them too. So the daily is kind of bleeding out, but we will see how it goes, right? Now, when we go for the weekly, when you compare the weekly, it's red, but it's still not bad, right? So of course we can expect that. You can't expect every coin to exactly just be killing it every week, right? If that was the case, we'd all be rich, like super super rich, but it's not, right? So it is the name of the game. Welcome to crypto metaverse. So that is the Ethereum for the week as well. Let's see, Litecoin, right? Litecoin's doing really good as well. It's still doing fantastic, as a matter of fact. This is the weekly. We went ahead and jumped here. The weekly's doing fantastic. Still pumping, going very strong. Has a very great rally going on. for the daily. Now, when we're speaking about today, like yesterday, it was kind of like trying to catch that up from the previous day, but it did start kind of like cooling off as well when speaking about today. And so not too bad either for Litecoin. So it's still rallying up pretty good. Now Solana. Solana is another one of those coins that's kind of like keeps you on your seat. If you look, it's just like a roller coaster. It looks like something from Six Flags, right? Just up and down. Welcome to Disney World, right? Get your laughs in now. So it does climb, it drops, it climbs up a little bit, drops, climbs, drops. So this is what we have now with Solana, and so we still have this wonderful like support here that we have, right? So we kind of have that line that we don't want to go to, even if it kind of bounces sideways from here. That's still not too bad. So if you bought in from like October, for example, at this point you bought into Ethereum, and now you're kind of waiting here. Right here, you're still making some profits, even if you sell now. So I'm not going to sell out just yet because I think it's going to go higher. I think we'll even break that high. I think we'll still have another new high coming up, probably in the upcoming weeks, probably mid-December, I would expect, to at least break about 274, 275 bucks. And that's just kind of when we compare to the rest of the stats here. Because when it drops and it comes, you can kind of see this like, what, 3, 1, 3, right? 3, well, 4, 1. It's that kind of status, right? So I think we'll probably like kind of hit here, maybe for a couple of days, move sideways at taste, the same as we have in all situations that we have with Ethereum, and then I think it'll come back up, right? So to about right here, to about 274 to 275 bucks. That's my call. So Ethereum or Solana is just one of those coins that can make you nervous. On the weekly, I mean, again, we had that big pump, right? So from last week, but even now, it's just kind of like, okay, right? So it's not too bad, guys. It's not too bad. So don't freak out. Don't sell it all just yet. All right, so the market, how's it looks today? So Bitcoin is in the red for the 24-hour period at 3.94%. With the weekly at 2.51 in the green. So not too bad, not too good either. So it's just kind of hanging in. Of course, again, I'm going to repeat it probably 1,000 times. The market is cooling off. You're not going to expect everything to be hot, right? Ethereum for the 7-day period is at 0.93 in the green with -5 for the day, right? Binance too at 0.57 in the red for the weekly and 350 in the red for the 24-hour period. Solana is 5.54 for the weekly in the red, and for the daily we have it exactly at 7.45%. Cardano, when we look at the weekly, much better than what the daily is. So at 0.88% in the green. I'm sorry, 0.79. It changed on me for the 7-day week for the weekly. And red at 4.66%. XRP is doing much better for the weekly too than it is for the day, but 0.25 for the 7-day weekday. But the 24-hour period is at 4.83% as well. So even it's just red. Like when we look at the market, it's just red. Like look, that wonderful red C, right? So not too hot. It's not doing too good. So Polkadot took a hit for the weekly and the daily at 12.92 in the red and 7.57 for the 24-hour period. So not too great. Even Shiba still falling down too. And I mean, even Litecoin. So Litecoin is the only one that's really pumping right now. That's really doing really well at 23.89% for the week for the weekly. For the 24-hour period at 7.21%. Right. So that's what we have. So it's kind of hanging in. So don't expect anything for like right now. So it's ugly. It's not like super ugly, right? It's not like put a paper bag over the face kind of type deal, but it is not as we wanted. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, catch me, hit the bell. That way you get notifications, and I will see you next time. Good luck.